Today on Typical Chicago Fans, we have Sinkers and Floaters, the TCF Sports Minute, a college football Week 4 review, an NFL recap of Week 2, our interview with WWE wrestler Brady Booker, and a TCF top 3 of our favorite WWE wrestlers. Let's roll. Hello and welcome to episode 114 of Typical Chicago Fans, brought to you by our incredible sponsor, Connect Roasters. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at typical_Chicago. Head to Facebook and Instagram, type in Typical Chicago Fans, give those pages a like as well. Go on over to YouTube, type in Typical Chicago Fans, subscribe there for all of our content in video form. Subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify, Spreaker, wherever you get your podcast. We are there. You can follow me on Twitter at BoomyTCF, but make sure to follow Zach as well at ZLiliaTCF. Zach, we've talked a lot about fall weather. It's starting to look a little more fallish. How we feeling today?
I'm feeling great. Boomy, I don't mean to cut you off, but can we go right into the sinkers and floaters?
Let's do it. Go ahead. Lead us off.
My sinker is leaves. Leaves are upon us. And I live in town. It's my second year having to get them out of my yard, have to worry about them. Leaves are so annoying.
Yeah, I'm with you. Luckily, out here in the country,
They're
a ton of leaves.
They're pretty to look at.
Absolutely. It's one of those, kind of, cool if you had kids and stuff and, play around in the yard. But as, adults, like, what do we need them for,
Well, then I feel like one day you work all day just to rake them all up and do whatever with them you got to do. And then the next day there's a bunch more.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like snow, right? You get rid of it and then it's back the next day.
I think it's quicker than snow.
Yeah, I'm with you.
At this time of year.
Oh, for sure. More leaves are dying. You're not out of the woods until no trees have leaves left on them.
Very true, Boomy.
I'm with you, man. My sinker is idiot high school football coaches. Completely different from where you were at, but that's because there was a high school football game, and it was in I can't remember exactly, Grove City. I'm not sure where that's at. But anyway, there was a bad call. Coaches didn't like it. I completely get that. And one of the coaches went out to argue with the ref, got a penalty flag.
Is this the guy who had the heart attack?
No, different guy. Goes out, argues with the refs. After the game, the refs go back to their changing room, and the coaches, the guy that got thrown out of the game,
this is the vendors,
took the vending machine and barricaded the referees inside of their changing room. That's just uncalled for. Like I coach, most people know this, and I'm have a tendency. I get a little hot sometimes. But
did
like,
he
this
get
is
arrested for that?
I believe it said in the article that the referees did file charges against the coach. So it's all in a legal proceeding right now.
Just imagine trying to open that door and then not be able to get out. That's so scary.
Yeah, and the refs, and then you don't know what's on the other side of that. They said they took 3 of the referees to push the vending machine out, and they had to kind of like slither their way out. That's just uncalled for. You're just being an ass.
So there had to be multiple coaches that did this, right?
You would at least 2.
Yeah, because those are not light at all.
No, not at all. So get it together. I mean, at the end of the day, like like I said, I coach, but at the end of the day, it is a game, and now you're getting yourself in legal trouble for being an idiot. So sinker is definitely those guys. My floater, on the other hand, is the set of Japanese twin sisters who are certified by the Guinness Book of World Records last week as the world's oldest twins. They are 107. Yumino Tsukiyama and Kome Kodama were born 3rd and 4th of 11 siblings on an island in Western Japan on November 5th, 1913. Wow. So they will turn 108 in November, and they were certified as the world's oldest twins last week. I'm not sure, Zach. I don't know about you. I don't know if I want to live to 108.
That's a long time, honestly.
That's a long time.
That's a long time, and maybe too long, but good for them.
And I can't imagine. Yeah, oh, absolutely. And like, it's crazy when you see, like, oh, this guy lived to like 118, whatever, 110, whatever the case is. But like, to have twins that do it, like that, the odds of that are next to nothing.
I would either want to break the Guinness World Record for being the oldest person of all time, like 101. Like, that kind of stinks.
Yeah, because it's not like
I
you
guess
have like
okay. That sounds awful to say. It's awesome to live to be 101 years old, but like, eh.
yeah, I'm kind of with
My
you, man.
mom's
Just
gonna be
like
so mad at me for this, but
same, but like you
that's a
got to
long
look
time
at.
to live.
It's also a different thing that like if you have a good quality of life at that point, like if you're still up and mobile, but like if you're just sitting there all day, like I don't know, that just doesn't seem
Still,
appealing
that's
to
a
me.
long time.
Yeah, exactly. What's
I don't
your
know. I don't know
floater?
if we built ourselves for that long, Boomy.
No, we definitely us. God no, God no.
My floater is fall weather because it is upon us today. We have a week of 70 is the high. It's beautiful out. I went golfing tonight with a crew neck on right here. I got my
Love the
duffer open,
Duffer
crew neck
open.
on. Uh, but it was just beautiful tonight. That crisp, cool air. You can't get anything better than that right now.
Just feels a little different in the lungs.
Oh yeah, you go outside in the morning. It's like no humidity, and it's just. I had a sweatshirt on at work. That's the best. That's the best
Yeah,
feeling.
I'm with you there. That's a great feeling, especially the first one of the year. That's a great
Because
feeling.
today it kind of rained, and then I went right into the cool weather, and then I looked at my phone. I'm like, we have a week full of 70s. Let's go.
Oh, for sure. I can't wait. It's starting to get nice. It's done sweating, when you're outside. Hopefully, knock on wood anyway. But let's move in to the TCF Sports Minute. This will be a quick one. Staying here in Chicago, the Bulls open in less than a month. Their opening night is October 20th. Zach, let's go quick. Scale of 1 to 10. How excited are you for the Bulls this year?
An 8 or a 9 because I'm just excited to be competitive. I know you know what the front office is doing. They've shown you that they can go out and get some pretty good free agents. I'm very excited for this season.
I'm with you, man. I'm like probably like you said, 8 or 9. I'm completely with you there. This team's going to be good. It's going to be improved. We have a good coach, a good GM, and now we finally have a good roster. We got that third piece that we've talked about, well over for the last year. So hopefully playing some meaningful basketball as the year goes on. And I think there's only like 3 guys from last year that are still around. So we'll see, man. And obviously the young blood, with AO, seeing if he can contribute at all. On the other side, their neighbors at the United Center, the Blackhawks opened the regular season a week before on October 13th, scale of 1 to 10. How excited are you for the Blackhawks?
It'll be cool to see Jonathan Tays out there, hopefully. And I'm excited for this season. I think that the Blackhawks have made some very good improvements this offseason that can make them a playoff contending team, and then you don't ever know what's going to happen in the playoffs. So I'm excited for the Hawks. I'm excited for the Bulls. We're going to get into football. I'm excited for the Bears. But you know what I'm not excited about, Boomy?
What's that, Zach?
Some of these Cubs games.
Oh, yeah, that's understandable. That is
Luckily, they're
understandable.
playing the Twins tonight, which makes them kind of competitive. But who's out to bat right now? Oh no, that's Matt Duffy who's batting right now. But Frank Schwindel, Patrick Wisdom, Ian Happ, they're making it exciting. Wilson Contreras, they're at least making it exciting to watch. They're not like competing for a playoff spot, but it's fun to watch.
Absolutely, man.
And
Absolutely.
Conor McGregor threw out the first pitch tonight.
That was one of the worst first pitches I've ever seen.
Well,
But
he'll also be singing the seventh inning stretch, so
that will also be
he's on
hilarious.
marquee right now. Conor McGregor. It's pretty cool to see.
That's for sure. The Cubs sitting at 67 and
Eh,
83. I believe
eh.
they were mathematically eliminated from the second wild card spot this morning. So there will be no
Oh,
playoffs on the
man.
north side. Um,
I was
I know you were
expecting
holding out hope.
playoffs.
I know you were holding out hope, but there will be no playoffs on the north side. But on the south side, the White Sox 85 and 65, I believe. I don't know if they won today or not. Had a
They
wild
did
day.
not win today because I bet
Okay,
them
so
minus one and a
85 and
half.
66.
Yeah, they lost to the Detroit Tigers 5-3. They're not looking the best right now going into the playoffs.
Not even that, Zach. Big news. Carlos Rodon gets pulled last night after 3
But
innings. Said his
they
arm
said
was
he is
tight.
scheduled to make his next start as of right now. But there's a lot of injuries going on with this team with pitching, and
Yeah.
they're not playing that great going into the playoffs like you would like them to. But doesn't mean you can't make a run in the playoffs. But as of right now, the White Sox are struggling just a little bit.
Yep, absolutely. So I know we've talked about this. Last thing in the sports minute, I've got a future on the Sox. I'll be cheering for the Sox to come to the playoffs just to make some money. Are there any other teams that you're looking at going into the playoffs that you might cheer for, just based on like, oh, I kind of like this team or I kind of like this guy? Is there any teams that you have off the top of your head that you might be cheering for come October?
The
Or
Giants.
against?
The Giants.
Oh,
I'm looking
KB.
KB. I would like him to win another title. That's just a fun team to root for. Maybe the Mets. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah. At
That'd
least
be
you'll have a
fun
couple
to
days,
root for because I would love Frank the Tank to be happy. But hey, have you seen some stats from Javi Baez? He's been playing well since he's been playing with the Mets, honestly.
Yeah, he has, and it doesn't seem like there's any chances going
Unfortunately
back
for
to the Mets.
Rizzo, I don't think the Yankees are either going to make the playoffs.
And I don't think I could bring myself to cheer for the Yankees anyway.
No, so I'll go with the Giants.
I don't hate that pick at all. I don't hate that. I like the Rays, man. I don't know what it is. They're just kind of always an underdog, and anytime they're in the play, I know that's front running, but
whatever.
it is what it is. I've
always
running.
The Rays are not really. I mean, they're the best team right now, but that's not like a big pick. Like there's not a lot of people picking that.
I agree. It's I think that let me look real quick here at the wild card. So I'm definitely not cheering for the Brewers. I do like the Braves. I hate the Dodgers. I hate the Cardinals.
Speaking
I like
of that,
the Rays. I hate the Astros.
Before we move on, shout out to John Lester for getting his 200th win. Why did it have to be with the Cardinals? Why did it have to be with the Cardinals?
Tough.
I love John Lester
Someone on
so
Twitter
much,
made a great point.
That's a tough graphic.
The same guys that were making fun of him for not being able to throw over to first base are the ones that called his 200th win. That was kind of hard to swallow.
Yeah, and then you see the 200th graphic, and it's like, it's a Cardinals team. He's in the Cardinals jersey. Darn it.
Yeah, and I'll be honest right now, Zach, I've always liked the Red Sox, kind of like that historical team in the American League. And also right now in the second wild card spot is the Blue Jays. So whoever wins that game, I'm in on. And it looks like as of right now, they will. Well, I'm getting a phone call from Washington, D.C. right now. I bet that's a good phone call. You got to love scammers, right?
No, it's probably the president asking you for some
advice,
information. I don't know.
I mean, I sent him to voicemail. I'll call him back later. But before we move on, a big thank you to our sponsor, Connect Roasters. They have the best coffee around. They work with our guy, Dom Frederick and Ian Happ. So you know it's good stuff. Zach loves it.
They're doing a little bit of, I think, commercial work at Wrigley Field with Ian Happ. So I like that.
Gotta love that. You can find their products at Foxtrot Market, Dom's. Go to their website, connectroasters.com. Follow them on Twitter at Connect Roasters. Get you some of their amazing coffee. Get your day started off right. Make sure to join the Home Run Club to receive discounts every time Ian Happ hits a dinger. And he's been hitting a decent amount of them this year, folks. So make sure.
Oh, yes, he has. He's been playing a lot better. A lot better.
Absolutely. I love it. I love seeing it. Our guy. But thank you to Connect Roasters. Make sure to check them out. Zach, let's move in. We have our week 4, which is wild to say, college football review. So let's start off here real quick. I want to go through some of the in-state teams, then we'll look at some of the national stuff. NIU, who I talk about a lot, obviously being an alumni, they got smoked at Michigan. We kind of expected that. Kind of glad I ended up backing out of going to the game at the last minute because I would have spent 11 hours in the car to watch them lose 63-10. But the fact that you took on that game, the fact that you go to Michigan, the biggest stadium in the United States.
Those players got to experience playing at the big house. That's awesome.
Exactly. And it beats the heck out of it because we're also not Northwestern, who is 0-3, and they had a really bad loss to a really bad Duke team.
Very confusing.
Very bad. I mean, obviously they lose a lot. They lost like 2 or 3 guys to the draft.
Duke is like one of the worst teams in college football.
Yeah, and they lost, I believe, by 5. Not a great look for Fitz. I mean, he was rumored to be in on some NFL jobs last year. Now he's 0-3. And
the Bears.
It just doesn't look good. Illinois, tough loss on Friday night. They're sitting at 1-2. They lost to Maryland. They still can't capture what they got in that first week against
Tua's
Nebraska.
brother is pretty good.
Yeah, he is. He's not Tua, but he's pretty good. Western, unfortunately, 0-3, losing a shootout to Eastern Washington. They lost like 59-55 or 63-55.
Who is the best football team in Illinois? How is SIU?
I'll get there in just a second. Eastern, unfortunately, also 0-4. They lost 21-24 to Illinois State. Illinois State's sitting at 2-1. They have the second best record in the state, and that is, of course, belonging to Southern Illinois, who is 2-1. Their only loss of the year is to a now ranked FBS team in Kansas State, and they gave them a game. They lost by less than 10 points.
So are they ranked?
Dayton. They are ranked 7th in the FCS. They beat Dayton 55-3 last weekend, and they are looking good. Their only loss, like I said, Kansas State, who is now ranked 24th in the country, and I believe it was a 7 or an 8-point game. So good things looking. Make sure you keep your eye on the Salukis down south. But let's move into some national stuff, Zach. What do you think? Florida gives Bama a scare.
I don't think Alabama is as good as they have been in the past few years. I think they are beatable.
I agree. And I think Florida gave a little bit of a blueprint. You cannot spot, and I know this is easier said than done. This is more of a hypothetical thing. You cannot spot Alabama a 20-6 lead in the early second quarter. Florida gets back in the game. They play a great second half, and then they go for a dumb 2-point conversion. Not saying that going for the 2-point conversion was dumb. The play that Dan Mullen called was dumb. Everybody and their brother in that stadium knew it was coming, and Bama sniffed it out really easily. Florida gives them a scare. I don't think they should fall too much in the rankings. If they can stay up, they're going to see Bama again in the SEC championship. Another team I was really impressed with, Zach, Penn State. Are they the best team in the Big Ten?
I think they are. I don't think Ohio State is as good as they have been in the last few years. So I think them and Ohio State are going to be competitive to win this conference.
I agree. And unfortunately, I believe they're in the same side of the conference, so probably won't see a matchup with either of them in the Big Ten. UCLA, they had the big win early in the year over LSU. They lost
LSU, who are frauds. They're frauds again this year.
Yep, huge frauds. But
I think
Fresno
Mississippi State is going to beat them this coming week. We'll talk about it more, but I think that LSU is going to lose this week.
Mark it down now, folks. Go put money line in. Let's move it. Stay in the West. BYU, Arizona State, both teams were ranked. BYU looked good. BYU pulled out the win. I don't think Herm Edwards is the guy in Arizona State, man.
I'm so confused about BYU. Like, are they good? Are they not? I don't understand what's going on there.
So here's the thing, Zach. I think they are good. They're not as good as they were last year with Zach Wilson at the helm. They do things a little bit differently. They're not airing it out as much. They're still throwing it quite a bit, but it's not Zach Wilson doing it. And they beat Utah last week. They beat Arizona State this week. They're setting themselves up for a nice little run here. So we'll see what we get out of BYU the rest of the year. A couple scares. Coastal Carolina and Cincinnati get a scare. Buffalo almost took care of Coastal Carolina. Cincinnati ended up winning by 14 at Indiana. Do you take do you put much investment in either of those teams right now?
I think Cincinnati can be a good team. They struggled. I think they were down like 14-0.
Yeah, they got to start stronger. They do not start games very well.
And Indiana's best defensive player I think he got kicked out for targeting. But
yeah.
I still think if Cincinnati can win out, who is their big opponent? They play Notre Dame.
Yeah, they played Notre Dame this week. This will be a huge test. If they can beat Notre Dame, I think you're going to see Cincinnati in the Final Four. This is kind of because the rest of their conference isn't.
No, great. I don't think they play Notre Dame this week.
It's either this week or next week, I think.
I'm pretty sure Wisconsin plays Notre Dame.
Oh, okay. Yep, you're right. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Cincinnati can take care of that. Couple more, Zach. Is Miami trash or is Michigan State for real?
I think Michigan State's for real, and Miami's not very good.
Yeah, I'm with you. Miami are frauds.
And Michigan State, they're decent, I guess. I'm not saying they're going to be great, but they're a lot better than they have been.
I believe former Bears coach Mel Tucker is the coach at Michigan State. Look, it seems
a lot of former Bears coaches.
Yeah, it seems like things are going well. For the Spartans, I like Michigan State. I mean, they didn't look great against Northwestern, but they still ended up with a 17-point win. Going down to Miami is another. I mean, they took care of Miami pretty easily.
Speaking of the Bears, we got to get into football. I got to get into this.
All right, let's get into it. We got our NFL recap. We'll start with
the Bears with the win over the Bengals. The defense played well. Justin Fields gets out there. Unfortunately, Andy Dalton with what is it, a bone bruise?
I believe that's what they're calling it. Yes.
Justin Fields with a bad interception, but that's what's going to happen with a rookie quarterback. That's why you play him now. I'm excited for the next game when they actually have a scheme around Justin Fields. This defense is good. I'm excited for this Bears team.
I don't mean to poo-poo on your
Shut
win, but
up.
I do want to ask. No, I got to ask because on Monday, Matt Nagy would not commit. If Andy Dalton is healthy, quote unquote, is
Honestly,
he
if
still the
Andy
starter?
Dalton's healthy and he plays Andy Dalton, I've had no problems with Andy Dalton as of late. I think he's played well too.
Yeah, he did enough to get. They just
Oh yeah,
offer different things.
he's played well. But either way, I'm excited for this Bears team. This defense looked good. I think there was 3 interceptions and 5 passes from Joe Burrow. Bears next week they go to Cleveland, play this tough Cleveland defense. We'll see how the Bears play. And also, I've seen that Odell Beckham and who's the other wide
Jarvis
receiver?
Landry.
I think they're both injured. I'm not saying neither of them are going to play, but I saw something today that the Bears may get lucky and not have to play either of them.
Yeah. It's a big opportunity for the Bears. They did enough to get the job done on Sunday. They held up, and I still think Cincinnati's still growing. But you can't take. I mean, a win's a win. You got to take it where you can get
Oh
it.
yeah, a win is a win, and that was all. That felt good at home, with especially the defense looking a lot better than they did on week 1. And you move on. A win is a win.
Absolutely.
I know it got a little tough there at the end, but they hung on.
Yep, absolutely. Let's recap. Giants shoot themselves in the foot on Thursday night, lose 30-29 at the Washington football team. Had the game won, jumped off sides, and Washington nails the field goal. Do you expect anything out of either of these teams this year, Zach?
No, I don't think either of these teams are very good. And I don't think either of them have a very good quarterback. And honestly, I think the Washington football team may have the better of the 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel
I don't
Jones
know.
offers.
I know Daniel Jones can run, whatever. I don't see it.
Yeah, I need to see him take another step. It still feels like he's a rookie, and it's like his 3rd or 4th year. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you got to. At some
Very
point,
true
you got
for
to
me.
take
That's
another
very
step.
true.
It just hasn't grown, I feel. Let's move into the Sunday games. Denver looking good. 2-0, 23-13 win over Jacksonville. That defense in Denver is tough, man. I believe Trevor Lawrence threw 2 picks. Do you think that Denver is going to be a real contender and give Kansas City, who seems to be down, we'll talk about them here in a minute, do you put any investment into the Denver Broncos right now, sitting at 2-0 with Teddy Bridgewater at the helm?
They have a tough defense. Teddy Bridgewater is a good quarterback, but I don't know. I don't think they can compete with Kansas City right now. But
Yeah,
they have the right coach for the defense. Let's see what they can do on
absolutely.
offense throughout the season.
Most definitely. The Bills absolutely bounce back after a week 1 loss and throttle the Dolphins while being on the road at that 35-0. Are the Bills back?
I wouldn't say they're back. They played well against the Dolphins team who had injuries throughout the game, but they
Yeah,
bounced back
Tua
and got the
going down
win.
early
They got
doesn't
the
help a
win
lot.
after a tough week 1.
That's a good point. Yeah, Tua still kind of up in the air. Didn't play a lot on Sunday. The team that you guys play this week, Zach, the Brownies have to come from behind. We're down early, 14-0. Come back, win 31-21. Are the Browns this good, or are the Texans this bad?
I don't know. We'll have to see against the Bears. Honestly, for the Browns, it's a good test for them against a pretty good defense. And I don't think the Texans are good. Tyrod Taylor, unfortunately, out for the next few weeks, so we'll have to see what they do at the quarterback position.
Yeah. I don't remember. I remember seeing the name. I can't. It's one of those career backup guys that's going to get the start for the Texans. I think this is going to be a big test this week for the Browns offense, but also for the Bears. The Bears offensive line, with as good as Cleveland's defense has been. I think it'll be a good game. We'll preview that here before the end of the week. The 49ers 17, Eagles 11. Same thing here. 17 shouldn't be enough to win an NFL game, but the lowly Eagles put up 11 points. Like, you don't have to do that much when the Eagles aren't doing anything.
It was a game of defense. Let's say that.
Yeah, I really hope so, because that's an ugly score to not even break 30. Jameis Winston comes back to earth. The Saints get smoked by the
As
Panthers.
PFT commenter said, LASIK does not travel.
11 of 22 for 111 yards. It's just not
unbelievable. Good. I mean, and some of those passes were insane.
Yeah, and it's not like Carolina's great by any stretch of the imagination.
You have to take the good with the bad if you're going to have Jameis Winston as your starting quarterback.
Exactly. Rams 27, Colts 24. Does it worry you? It's starting to worry me a little bit.
It was oddly close. It was oddly close.
Like
the Rams looked like they were kind of control, and then they got close. I still think the Rams are a good team. I think the Colts are the worst team that the NFL or whoever could pick for Hard Knocks. I'm just saying.
Yeah, boring. No, thank you. I know it's week 2. I don't want to read too much into this, but the Rams got to be able to put teams like Indy, especially on the road. You've got to be able to put a team like that down 10, 12 points so that they can't claw back into one. The Vegas Raiders moved it to 2-0 in a win at Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Steelers looked terrible. I thought Big Ben should have
First of all, they ruined my parlay. Second of all, Big Ben is hurt again. And I don't know. I just don't understand this Steelers team. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's been like this for a couple years. Games you expect them to win. Yes, exactly. Games you expect them to win, they don't play well in. Games you expect them to lose, they'll somehow get themselves out. They're not a better team than Buffalo, and they beat Buffalo pretty handily. Zach, a couple things that are always true. The grass is green, the sky is blue, and the Patriots beat the Jets 25-6. Not even close. Zach Wilson, 4 interceptions for the Jets. I mean, you got to be a little worried as a Jets fan. You kind of saw the same thing when Sam Darnold showed up, and not a great start for his Jets career.
Let's just say I'm happy that the Bears didn't pick him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's,
It seems like the Bears, Mitch Trubisky.
I think that the way it's starting,
we'll see.
Starting to look right. Speaking of teams not being able to put teams out, the Cardinals barely squeaked by the Vikings on a missed field goal. I think the Cardinals are a good team, but it's another one. You were at home. You've got to bury teams like the Vikings and not leave it up to fate in a missed field goal coming down to help you win.
Dalvin Cook, an amazing game.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, Cardinals are good. Vikings showing a little bit there. We'll see what they got. I'm not expecting.
Kyler Murray also very good at football.
Yes, very good for a very short guy. Also, speaking of things that always happen, the Buccaneers blow out the Falcons. It seems like a long time since we've seen that go the other way. It probably hasn't been that long.
What year is it? Can you tell me what year it is, Boomy? Because what is this? Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski?
Yeah, no kidding. I think it's like 2004 all over again, but no, it's 2021.
I think Gronkowski has 4 touchdowns already.
Yeah, I know. I got both Brady and Gronk on my fantasy team. I'm loving it right now. I hope that keeps up. The Falcons just playing bad. The Buccaneers probably the best team, second best team, 1A, 1B in the NFC. A game I was the only one on in the pick show. The Cowboys with a 56-yard field goal to beat the Chargers in L.A. Are the Cowboys? Everybody said, oh, they played really good because it was week 1, but they go to L.A., a team everybody's picking to, be much improved.
They played well. They played well. The offense played well. The defense played well. The Chargers didn't play very good. But I think this Dallas team, 2-0, you got to feel good.
Absolutely. Out west, one of the best games of the week. The Titans go on the road, beat the Seahawks in Seattle, 33-30.
It should have been over before. That was a safety.
Yeah, that was a safety.
Please.
I don't know. Someone that's listening would have to tell us if they've ever seen a walk-off safety. I don't think I've ever seen it. That's for sure.
No, but it should have been.
It should have. The Sunday night game, very good game. The Kansas City Chiefs fall to the Baltimore Ravens, 36-35. Are you starting to worry that the Chiefs might not have it the way they used to?
I don't know.
That
That's
offensive
a
line
good
doesn't look.
game of two good teams. I would say. Let's
And
just
it's
say that.
at Buffalo. I think that the Ravens aren't getting enough love as they deserve. They are down two running
Yes.
backs, and Lamar Jackson is playing like a man possessed
So
right now.
I think those are two good teams that are going forward are going to be two good teams.
I'm with you there. I think those are going to be two fun teams to watch.
Oh
And
yeah.
last night,
Oh,
we saw the Packers go down 17-14 at half. Didn't look great. The defense looked atrocious. I was on a tirade
I like
on
Jared Goff,
Twitter.
but it's just like you said, it's such a big difference between Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff as the quarterback because
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford would have probably made that a close game at least. Jared Goff, that was not close at all.
Yeah, I mean, he did 246 yards, but like also at the same time, like I think Dan Campbell's doing a good enough job, but like Aaron Jones had 4 touchdowns last night. The guy ran for 67 yards, received 80 or 48, and had 4 touchdowns. It didn't seem the Packers rushing went 67, 18, and 8 and 6, and it didn't seem like Detroit had any answer for the Green Bay running game. I was getting
No,
frustrated for
not at
once that
all.
Green Bay wasn't running the ball.
But that's what the Green Bay was missing in Week 1. So
Yep.
going
Couldn't
forward,
get
the teams will have to worry about that. But overall, that was a dominant performance from Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
Yep, and I hope he keeps that up. But you can't have lapses like week 1. We'll get into next week in the Daily Show this week, but we have an amazing interview to jump to. Local kid from here in the Illinois Valley has signed with the WWE, Brady Booker. Make sure you check this interview out. It was so fun. We're definitely going to have Brady back on. So let's go ahead and throw it to our interview with Brady Booker, WWE future superstar. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest to welcome to the podcast. Not only is he a local legend here in the Illinois Valley as a standout football and baseball player at St. Bede Academy in Peru, but he has gone on to play Division I football at South Dakota and is now a member of the WWE. You can follow him on Twitter at Brady Booker _WWE. Ladies and gentlemen, future WWE champion of the world, Brady Booker. Brady, how are we doing, my man?
After an intro like that, I'm fired up. You kidding me?
Hey, man, I've been working on these for a while. It's because I watch too much Pat McAfee, and he's big in the wrestling game. He always tries to cut a good.
You might
good
put
intro.
that in your intro.
Yeah, there
Heck
you go.
yeah, I might have to call the WWE, let them know I got a guy to call me in. Heck yeah.
Hey,
I'm
just let me know.
I'm a huge Pat McAfee fan as well.
Great dude. He's gotten me into wrestling lately, and it's because of personalities like that. It's stuff like that keeps it going and gets people more interested.
Exactly. When I even before I applied for this job, I started watching again and seeing what NXT was all about because Pat McAfee was on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Entertaining and whatnot. So
him kicking Adam Cole in the head. So
yeah, and doing backflips off the cage.
All right, man. Well, let's get into this journey to the WWE. Like I said, you played, baseball and football throughout high school, played Division I football. I believe you didn't start out at South Dakota. Am I correct in that?
Right.
Okay. You end up in South Dakota playing D1 football, and season ends, you're looking to the next thing, and now you sign with the WWE and are part of their next, wave. What in the world, how does that happen? Do you go from D1 football, be like, all right, I'm gonna be a wrestler now?
You know what? In all seriousness, it was something I always kind of joked about. You know what I mean? I was actually prepping to be a lawyer, and thinking about law school, thinking about the LSAT, and I thought to myself, just looking in the mirror, the way I kind of act is like, I'm not ready for a desk job. I'm not ready to wear a tie and sit in a desk every day. I got to do something, And so one night I decided after playing poker with the boys, after the season got canceled, we were talking about, what we were doing. And I went home. I'm like, screw it. I'm going to try out. I Googled WWE application. It took me to the questionnaire, brought me to the website, and I filled it out.
That's amazing. Can you confirm or deny the story that a member of your family may have told us that it was a night with the boys, like you said, playing poker, maybe a couple pops had been drank.
Yeah, something here nor there,
Okay.
So how many people did you try out with?
12. Usually there's about I think they said anywhere from 40 to 100. They've had huge tryouts and whatnot. But, when COVID hit, they had themselves, what they referred to me as an elite tryout, you know? So I felt excited to be able to be a part of something like that, because they got back to me like a week later. I was Googling, you know, the person who had come in contact with me to make sure that was real. I was like, oh, geez, I got hacked. Something happened. But no, it was all real, all on the up and up, and I had a flight to Florida. Yeah, but there were 12 of us, and full of ex-NFL guys. And if they weren't an ex-NFL guy, they were you know, their dads or brothers or someone was in the WWE.
Yep.
So when I got down there, everyone was talking, oh, how'd you get there? Oh, they got in contact with my family or my agent. You know, I'm like, yeah, I Googled it, guys. You know what I mean? So at first, I completely thought like, well, you know, free trip to Florida. That was fun. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
So like, what's the next step? You're at the Performance Center right now. Are you trying to go like to WWE, NXT? How do they set you up for something?
Is it like a path?
Yeah, you know, I would look at the NXT as like your minor leagues. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like your NBA D league and whatnot. You know, you're building a following. They're trying things out, and yeah. And
is that the one that CM
the main goal? Go ahead.
CM Punk just joined that.
Who?
CM Punk. Did he just go to NXT?
CM Punk would be on AEW.
Okay.
AEW.
We don't mention
their second tier. No big deal.
I don't know. I was just asking. I'm sorry.
No, I in all seriousness, I'd rather take this chance to talk about AEW being second tier to the WWE.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely. So like you said, you're at the training center. What's like the hardest part for you so far in learning how to be a pro wrestler? Is it the outside of the ring stuff, or is it, you know, what is the hardest thing for you?
I'm glad you asked that, because, you know, my sports background, my everything that like I did up to this point, I was a football player. You know, I was a football player for 22 years. And when you play football, you know, you know, it's a lot different than you know, the WWE and sports entertainment wrestling.
Yeah.
And I've always had a big personality. I can put a mic in my hands. I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna have something.
We couldn't have gathered that by now. You know, we just, you know, we assumed you were very quiet and docile. No, I'm just
yeah, exactly. That's figured. You know, with my dad, who he is and all. But no, yeah, I've enjoyed all that. That's come pretty naturally. But when it comes to, you know, learning how to throw your body around in the ring and figure it out, that's something I'm still learning how to do. I'm having fun doing it.
Did you ever, like, you didn't wrestle in high school? Did you ever do like little kids wrestling, or did you?
Yeah, I wrestled back in the day, but that's the thing, you know, I won a state championship, I think, in 8th grade there, and it made me fall in love with basketball, you know. So I also got tall and could dunk, so that was kind of cool.
That helps out too.
Yeah.
That helps out for sure.
Have you been working on like a character? Like, do they pick a name for you going to the ring, or like, are you gonna be a good guy, bad guy? Are you that far into the process yet?
You know, that's still being talked about within those guys, and it's that's something that, you know, you leave to the creative team and whatnot. You know, when that gets announced, they'll be announcing it and whatnot.
Yeah, because like you said, half the thing is being athletic, and half of it's just being a personality that somebody wants to watch.
That's the, you know, that's the cool part about it is we've got some exceptional athletes. There's a dude named Reggie. He's on, you know, Raw, SmackDown. He comes in there, he's doing all sorts of flips into the ring, around the ring. I mean, there's dudes who are 250, 260 pounds doing flips, getting up in the air. I mean, so there's some exceptional athletes, but everybody's got a personality. Everybody's got a story. Everybody, you know, has something to talk about. So I think, you know, you have to be an exceptional human being to make it in here. So I'm just honored to be with these people every day and thankful that I'm in the position I'm in.
Well, like you said, like, you can be, I mean, exceptional athlete, but you've got to be able to put asses in the seats when it all is said and done. You got to put on a show. And I like that you said earlier, you know, sports entertainment, you have to be able to put on a product that people are willing to go out and spend money for, and not just be, you know, you might be the most technical, you know, wrestler in the game, but like, if you can't, you know, bring people into the stadium, you know, what are you really contributing to the WWE? That's a huge part of it.
Right. Yeah, it's whatever gets you over, they say.
Yeah,
I'm learning
absolutely.
a lot of good wrestling terminology.
All right, but that being said, we got a guy that we work with who's a huge wrestling fan. He was one of the first guys that, when you tweeted out that you were joining the WWE, he was all over it. There's a bunch of guys here that I know that are big wrestling guys. You being from the area have been pumped about this. So he asked us to ask this question. Shout out to our guy Pigoy. But he asked us to ask you, describe learning how to take a fall / take a bump and hitting the ropes. Does that hurt?
This, people say this is fake. This is not fake. This is not fake.
I totally understand because I watched it when I was younger, and it's like you see guys breaking collarbones and stuff like that. Like they're still getting thrown off of the thing. You're still doing like this, like that. That's still unbelievably painful.
Yeah, and it takes some peaches to take some of the bumps that we do. So, yeah, it's hard work, but it's a lot of fun, and you're just a special type of person. You know what I'm saying? If you like
exactly. Is there anything that you've learned so far that you thought was going to be harder than it was?
Just the pageantry of a match. You know what I mean? The work that goes into a match and working through it and how it's done and whatnot. A lot of people have a lot of different stances on how to do things, and it's kind of cool. Wrestling is kind of a language, you know what I mean? And once you learn it, you can kind of, there's Japanese, there's UK, there's even Mexico and whatnot. So there's a lot of different languages, and then there's a lot of similarities, but with its own little twist. You know what I mean?
Right. There's so much going on outside of the match you're seeing on TV that most people probably don't ever think about.
The WWE is worldwide. It's insane.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the thing. When I was at the tryout, they just gave us a PowerPoint, and they were talking to us about the number of fans. There are more fans in the WWE than the NFL and NBA.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's insane.
I mean, you see people that go to these events, they are into it. They're going crazy. They just want to be there because they're so diehard fans. I think WWE,
they sell out football stadiums.
They have the most diehard fans.
That's the thing about the WWE is just that it is worldwide. There's the WWE UK, trying to get something going in Japan. They've been in Mexico before, and it how do I put it? It appeals to everybody. There's a spot in the WWE for every type of person, everything that they're into. So, it's really cool how everybody can turn it on and enjoy some part of the show.
With saying how WWE is worldwide, have they kind of taught you how to cut a promo? Maybe trying to how to go to everybody? How to make a good promo? Have you been taught?
Promo, bad promo.
Oh, we have promo classes, and we have the best coaches that teach us. We have wrestling coaches, we have our promo coaches. We got the best in the business.
That's very interesting. Like the behind the scene thing. So everyone sees, it's Monday night, and they see SmackDown and everything. They don't realize that like you guys are prepping all week for the event.
Oh yeah, there's guys showing up, in Orlando at the training center and going to the shows on the road. There's a lot of work to be done. I mean, these people are dedicated, and it's not just. Everybody used to think it's you're a rock star. These are athletes. These are high quality athletes.
For sure. So like, what does at the training center? You said these different coaches you have. What does a typical day look like for you? Like, so we're recording this on Sunday night. You're gonna wake up Monday morning. What's a typical Monday morning look like for a guy at the Performance Training Center? Or is there even such thing as a typical day, or does it all kind of vary?
Just to make sure I don't say anything that I'm not supposed to say, you know what I mean? So just to keep it within that. You're by the seat of your pants. There's always a set schedule, but schedules change, and this is the WWE. You know what I mean? It's a show. It's Hollywood. Sure. It's you gotta do what you can, and sometimes it might be somewhere, but then you might have to drive somewhere else. Last minute things, last minute switches. So that's
a good way. That's a good way to train, you guys in the sense of the business that you talk about. Like, I think I listened to an interview with Undertaker, and he said that they're in like 300 cities in a year, or traveling through places. Like, you never know when that's gonna, get turned. Hey, we're going this place or this, to this location. Like,
and that's the thing is, like, right now at the PC, there's your ring training, there's your weightlifting, there's your promos and whatnot, and then whatever else they need you to do. That's kind of our consistent basis. But there's a lot of things that change, and then as you get on TV, stuff will change even more.
No, for sure. So is there like a person that has stuck out to you? When did you get down to the Performance Center and start your training?
Started August 30th. It was official.
Okay. So has there been a person that you've kind of run into yet that has left you a little starstruck yet, or is still kind of getting there?
This is a true story. I got choked up when this happened. You know what I mean? It was just so surreal that this is my life and this is what I do for a living. I'm so thankful, and I wake up every day and I can't even believe that I'm in this position. But I was just, doing a physical exam, doing my balance test. I see Shawn Michaels walking around.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is like my second day. Shawn Michaels walking around, and
the Heartbreak Kid.
I'm wide-eyed. I'm looking at him, and he just walks up all cool, calm, and Brady, how you doing? And I was going to introduce myself. I hadn't met him yet. He goes, "Oh, I know who you are. I watched you play football." Like what? What?
Oh my God.
Shawn Michaels is gonna tell me he knows who I am? What? You kidding me?
That's got to be one of those moments you're like, don't fangirl out here, but like at the end of the day, like.
And that's the thing with this job. People say not to be a fanboy and whatnot, but I love doing it. You know what I mean? I love supporting these guys, but there's so many people who just worked hard to be great. That's all it really is a want to be great. You know what I mean? Because all you really got to do is just show up, do your job well, and those people just wanted it more. A guy like Shawn Michaels he's the GOAT, man.
Yeah.
That story is great for my next question is how cool is it to be a professional wrestler? I mean,
just
I grew up.
Dumb it down. Cool is it?
I watched DX. I loved that. I love The Rock. All that. It's just you want to grow up being those guys, and you have an opportunity to be one of those guys.
Like I said, I wake up every morning and I thank God for the position I'm in. I have the greatest job in the world.
That's amazing.
So cool.
I have the greatest job in the world, and I mean, I can see how people would say it's a grind and whatnot, but oh my gosh, that what this offers and all the fun it is. I mean, even learning the wrestling moves. I used to do DDTs in my pool, with my buddies and the John Cena FU, oh my gosh, we used to RKO each other onto the couch. Are you kidding me? I do that for a living. You know what I mean? So
it's incredible. Awesome. Like you're just like walking around one day and then you look in the mirror, you're like, man, this is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be like that all the time.
I get down here and like I said, I just look around. It's like, why the hell am I here? Why the hell do these guys like me? Why'd they give me this job? I still don't understand, but I'm going to work my tail off every day, for it. So.
Right. No, for sure. It's definitely an insane opportunity, and it seems like you're taking in every single bit of it. Is there?
Yeah.
Do you ever get back like I said? Do you ever like at the end of the day just be like, wow, this is nuts?
Yeah, I mean, there's those surreal moments. I mean, even head coach Matt Bloom. I remember watching him wrestle guys like Brock Lesnar and stuff. Like he's wrestled every guy in the business. My roommate, his dad is Bull Buchanan, who was John Cena's tag team partner coming up and was in every big time of the early 2000s. The Raw's War era with Stone Cold and every. So there's a lot of cool history to it. Just the stories, man. The stories are just insane. The stories these guys got.
And I'm, like I said, I'm becoming more of a wrestling fan, obviously, with, knowing you. And then when we talked about Pat McAfee, but like, I love listening to interviews on like Pardon My Take or any other podcast I listen to with like the old school wrestlers. They, like I said, Undertaker, I think they've had, was it Kane on? Mm-hmm. They've had so many, old wrestlers. And like you said, man, the stories that these guys tell, it's just the coolest part about, hearing the journey and, knowing what's going on this stuff. You only see it for a couple hours a week and then it goes away. You don't realize, all the cool shit going on behind that.
That's the thing. All the work that gets put in for that 2-3 hour show. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's insane. So you find out you're signing with the WWE. Do you go and do like any homework on some of your favorite, like former past, wrestlers or, things that they did? Did you, become a student? Because like you say, you were getting done with school. Did you become a student again and start taking notes?
Yeah. That's actually a thing is like, another connection to football is that you can watch a lot of film with wrestling. You can watch a lot of wrestling matches. Thank God he's actually my roommate, Bull Buchanan's son, Ben Buchanan, who's doing a great job. Brooks Jensen, if you want to look him up. He's in a tag team with Josh Briggs. They're doing a great job. And so he's already, doing great things. And he's taught me a lot. I mean, he's taught me so much about the game and all the history and all the type of stuff. what to watch in film, basically teaching me how to watch film,
Yeah,
Like my dad used to teach me how to watch football film. He's teaching me how to watch wrestling film.
definitely.
At some point, it all comes together in life. So you got taught to do the football film. Now it's like your real life job,
which is awesome because
yeah.
I'm so used to this type of grind. It's just a few things you do differently. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Same type of grind.
Absolutely. So let's go back real quick. You played at South Dakota, and I believe South Dakota just had a real nice upset win not too recently, if I'm not mistaken.
They just, we should have beat Kansas, but they just took it to Cal Poly. I mean, took it
Okay.
on the ground and in the air. They took them whatever way they wanted, and they couldn't score either. So it was awesome to watch. Got a lot of
It was Kansas. Yeah, that's where I remember. That's the one they should have got. What was you got to play against Nebraska, if I'm not mistaken?
No, it was Oklahoma was our big game.
Oklahoma. Okay. I'm assuming that was at Oklahoma. What was that like walking into that
awesome.
stadium?
And to see a guy like Spencer Rattler, that I got to pair up with, because we had a 2-time All-American guy at the time. So I was just, working in. I wasn't the guy yet, So I was working in, and I got to take some reps, with Spencer Rattler out there. And
That's awesome.
Being on the same field as a guy like Jalen Hurts. Now, I didn't get my hands on him, but he was within yelling distance. Special teams, going against guys like Kenneth Murray, first-round draft pick for the Chargers. Just seeing, playing with those elite players and knowing that you can compete with them was on the biggest stage too. Let me tell you about this. Here we go. I hate myself for forgetting this, but I met Brian Bosworth actually at the Oklahoma game.
Oh wow!
God.
I put a big hit for my freshman year at that Division II Quincy University I went to with special teams, our home opener. I just threw it on Instagram, just a kid, wanting to post. Oh, I knock heads. And he ended up seeing it somehow, and he liked it, and he followed me. And I was like, oh my God, you're my hero. So I got to talk to him a little bit there over Instagram. We kind of connected. Well, I ended up finding my way to South Dakota. Got a dog, named it Boz.
Yeah.
And got in touch with him again because I tagged him in a post saying we were going to play at Oklahoma, and he came and found me. He grabbed me before the game, and he gave me a little speech. I mean, God. I had Brian Bosworth singles me out, pulls me aside, and he grabs me by the, oh man. I was pissed off because someone was grabbing me before kickoff, and I was trying to get in the zone, and I turned around, it's Brian Bosworth. I about started crying and throwing up. I didn't know how to react.
Gosh,
I can't imagine. Like you said, you're pissed off because someone's yanking at you, trying to get there, get ready, and then you're like, oh wait, never mind, I'm not pissed anymore.
Yeah,
it's
my hero. That is probably still one of the coolest moments, other than meeting Shawn Michaels now. You know what I mean?
You just gotta start keeping a list, man. It's just gonna keep growing.
Whoever said you shouldn't meet your heroes is a damn liar.
I couldn't agree more.
Hey, you just keep putting yourself in the right spot, and it's just going to keep happening. But I see that Bears hat. How about them Bears?
Hey,
Bears
hell yeah today. Hell yeah. About time. Of course, they had to make it stressful at the end, and we got to see Justin Fields, almost kill us. But I appreciate the defense playing and pulling it out for us.
I think 3 interceptions and 5 passes today.
Yeah. At least Khalil Mack finally got a sack.
So obviously, Brady, you played football. What do you? We ask everybody this: should Justin Fields have been the starting quarterback the whole time, and do you think he's going to be the quarterback going forward?
I think if Andy Dalton's knee's a little messed up,
you don't have a choice.
Because who we got next week? We got a pass rush next week.
Oh, who do the Bears? Cleveland.
Yeah. That Cleveland pass rush is going to be up on you, and
Myles Garrett.
If his knee isn't fine, they're going to need to get somebody who can run around. I'd like to see, Justin Fields play more, but then, the scary moment of today that, that linebacker showed that your average NFL linebacker is not your average, college linebacker. He's going to make a play, try to do something there. So hopefully he'll figure out he's young, but
absolutely. No, it's
my favorite thing was the boost that you saw him when he hit that corner, even though he didn't get to the end zone, you just see the burst that is available.
He's an immaculate athlete. They need to get him involved some way. He's our first-round draft pick. First-round draft pick. Let's use him. Let's do something. If you want to keep him out of the bullshit, the getting hit, running around, fine, protect him, but he's got to be involved some way, somehow.
You also saw Andy Dalton try to save his career. He understood that if he got out of there, he may not come back in. So you could tell that he just wanted to get back out there, but that knee just was not good. The adrenaline kind of ran out on him.
Yeah,
and
Andy Dalton, no disrespect to him. It's just, you got to play the cards you're dealt. Yeah, no disrespect to Andy Dalton.
No, he's great.
Nice
He's
guy.
been a great NFL player, but he understands. I think he
Yeah.
wants to be out there as much as the next guy, but with this injury and stuff, it's just there's things that are going to happen over the next few weeks.
Exactly.
All right, man. We got some rapid fire questions for you. You ready?
All right, I'm fired up.
All right, let's start
Bear
easy. Like
down.
you said, you lift all the time, squats or deadlifts?
Deadlifts.
I'm with you. I stopped squatting.
I just box squat now after 2 knee surgeries. I just box squat.
Wait, we got 2 knee surgeries?
I've got a knee surgery, and a shoulder surgery, and a shoulder surgery. I got one for all of us.
Oh my god!
Good God. I
Hey,
played flag football today, and I thought my knee was going to fall off.
You know, coach used to pat you on the ass, say, give 100%. Well, I think I did my job. You know what I mean?
I would say so. I would say so.
Protein
Yeah.
shakes or regular meals?
Regular meals.
I'm a sucker for a good protein shake.
Boomy
Really?
loves a
Yeah.
protein shake.
Steak?
You make a valid point. Steak trumps. I'll take protein shake over chicken, though. I eat way too much chicken. I'm sick of it. If I never see a chicken again.
Big thing that I do is canned chicken. It's $2 a can. It's premium canned chicken. Hear me out now. Premium canned chicken from Walmart, $2 a can, and you're getting over 60 grams of protein in one can with like 2 grams of fat, 0 grams of carbs. Macro heaven.
There you go.
What do you mix? You can't just eat that out of a can.
So I take it, I mix it with a little buffalo sauce and a little honey. Eat it after a workout.
All right, I'm gonna clip this up so I remember that. I love canned chicken. My wife has made fun of me for the last 7 years about eating canned chicken, and I was like, "Listen, it got me through college. What do you want me to do here?"
Hell yeah, that's the best source of protein there is.
Absolutely. All right,
I'm not eating that canned tuna shit. The cat food.
See, I don't mind tuna.
See,
I
don't
like it.
The wrong way. I think it's cat food.
I've actually switched to the packets because you're right.
Yeah.
There's something fishy, and not like in a good way, but like in a something not great.
Dolphin.
Yeah, I was a little nervous. You just keep making it worse for me. All right, South Dakota, the state, or Florida?
It depends on what age I am, because damn, I love the mountains and I love the outdoors and the woods. But right now, I want to be in Florida.
Yeah,
very true.
Especially in 3 months when it's -5 up here and it's still 65 or 70 down in Florida.
I do remember walking out of the house a couple times at school and my hair would freeze instantly, so I'm not going to miss that very much.
Hey, as a member of the long hair committee, how long have you been growing the locks out?
I get trims. Every now and then, since I'm a WWE guy, I got to stay, pretty, I guess. But to get rid of the dead ends. But I haven't gotten a real haircut since I left the house.
Damn, I'm going on. I've just cleared 2 years
I might
since
as
my
well
last trim.
for the podcast. Here.
All right. Oh yeah, we're the long hair committee over here.
I did think about letting it all hang.
I see why you like Bosworth.
Oh yeah, he was my look, brother.
Oh yeah, there it is.
The lock.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
you really had it tucked up in there.
Oh yeah.
You got me. I don't even. Man. All right. You want the next one?
The Rock or Stone Cold?
Stone Cold. No disrespect, Rock.
No, but I love Stone Cold. That stunner, just like his attitude is amazing.
The rattlesnake. Are you kidding me?
When I was like 9 years old watching him catch beers thrown from the crowd, I thought that was like the epitome of being cool.
Oh, yeah.
He smashing 2 beers together and pouring them all over your face was the epitome of being cool. Yeah.
And
so true.
I did
there was
that.
Nothing more badass than doing that, and it's all because of him.
I still want to do it after the Cubs won the World Series.
I still want to do it. Still, sometimes you want to do it, and then you do it, and you're like, well, that was a mess, but that was fun.
All right. Chicago sports, you Cubs or Sox guy?
With me actually being a Cardinals fan, going to get a lot of hate here.
We're going to have to cut that out.
Family's Cub fans. I'll definitely be the Cubs before the Sox.
All right. Let me jump into the next one. NFL Monday Night Football or Monday Night Raw?
Oh, I'm gonna say Monday Night Raw, Vince.
Yeah. Good answer.
Hell yeah, Vince, Monday Night Raw. But I love switching back to football. Let me tell you.
It's perfect if you got a 2 TV setup. You go Monday Night Raw on one, football on the other.
Especially when you're on Monday Night Raw. That'll be fun.
Hopefully.
What's your favorite cheat meal?
My favorite cheat meal?
You like
Yep.
The Rock eat like 27 chocolate chip pancakes, or
When I cheat, I go big. You know, I'll try to eat 10,000 calories or puke before I leave. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's nice.
But I'd probably say a burger, but I mean, we're doing it all on it. We're putting the brisket, we're putting the pulled pork, we got the beef patty in there somewhere, enough cheese to give you a heart attack, all of it.
I was gonna say I felt the blood coursing from my heart slow down as you were describing that burger. So that sounds fire. All right, let's move into some local IV rapid fire ones here first. And I'll tell you, fried chicken or spaghetti?
Fried chicken.
Do you have any clue? I hope someone at some point in my life, I've lived in the Illinois Valley since I was 8 years old. Why do we eat fried chicken and spaghetti together?
Oh, because it's good. It's a good combo.
Because the Italians that paved the way for all of us got it going, you know, over there in Verrucchi's, over there in the valley, and they were just whipping up, you know, spaghetti and fried chicken.
Well, that was going to be my next question: Rips or Verrucchi's?
Ooh, I've got some family and some background.
You might want to sit this one out.
Who's gonna get mad? No, I gotta make a decision. I'd never leave you boys hanging. I'm gonna go Verrucchi's because all the team dinners and whatnot. So you got to go Verrucchi's.
They do the traditional family. So I actually just ate at Verrucchi's last Wednesday night, and it was incredible, family style. You just load it up, and they had the raviolis.
Man, do I love rips though? Let me tell you, I love that grease-soaked bag, but you have to eat it when you buy it. None of that fridge stuff.
Yeah, you definitely lose something. And there's something to rips about standing in line, drinking a $4 pitcher of beer while you wait, and then eating pickles and Krispies. I still also don't know how that started. And I need to go on like a little tour here to figure out how these traditions started. But there's something in the whole process of ribs that I just makes. So, all right, another spawn. Do you go quarter light or chicken strips at ribs?
Ooh, I've been going the chicken strips.
They just seem more not that their chicken is not consistent, easier to eat. But
I want the most food as I can get, and I feel like I can just shovel chicken strips. You know?
Yeah, true. Oh yeah.
What's your favorite IV eating spot
outside of Rips or Verrucchi's?
Back in the day when it was originally owned, the Igloo was a good spot when I was a kid. But Bash has become a pretty good place with the burgers.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan of Bash.
Even though it's a little trendy, it has become really good. I enjoy it.
No free ads here, but there's a new burger and sushi place on the far east side of Peru now called SOB, Sushi or Burger. You got to try it out next time you come home. Very comparable to Bash.
Okay, awesome.
And the reason we started going there, me and my wife went there one night at 7:15, and they said the wait time was 1 hour and 45 minutes. Oh, wow. I said I'm not eating dinner at 9 o'clock. No. So check it out. It's not bad. All right. So your favorite IV eating spot? What's your favorite bar in the Illinois Valley?
You know, I haven't even had a chance to really go out, you know, and enjoy the Illinois Valley on a basis to figure it out. I always just kind of follow my friends wherever we go, but Jackson the Valley is usually where I like hanging out. Yeah.
Have you made it back and seen their new enclosed, kind of not enclosed outdoor space they have?
That little patio with the tables and whatnot. Yeah.
Solid choice.
Jax is becoming a hot spot in the Illinois Valley there.
Absolutely. We're obviously Mendota biased, but you know that's
right. Of course.
That's a good one. Zach,
I never really got to make my way up there. I think I was there, you know, after a couple sweet corn festivals, but nothing too serious.
Well, you let us know next time we're home. We'll come show you all the 3 wonderful spots to go to here in town. So, anything else?
I think that's about it.
Brady, anything else on your end, man?
No, I really appreciate you guys having me on. Hopefully I didn't make myself look like too big of a doofus, but this was a lot of fun.
Hey, you are always welcome on the Typical Chicago Fans podcast. Don't be a stranger. Good luck with everything at the Performance Center. Make sure to follow Brady at Brady Booker _WWE. Is that Twitter and Instagram?
Yes, sir.
All right. Anywhere else people can find you, or just keep their eyes open in the next couple of years, huh?
Exactly. You know, I'm gonna be down here doing my best, grinding it out to be the next WWE superstar, headlining WrestleMania. You know,
WWE champion.
Have you ever been to a wrestling event?
No, I've never been to one. I watched it a lot on TV.
All right, when you get When you make it to the big show, we will attend our first ever WWE live event next time or when you get up and you're in the Chicagoland area. We'll be the first ones to buy tickets.
Hell yeah, that's what I want to hear. I need all the fans I can get.
Absolutely. I'm going to make an obnoxious sign too. That was my favorite part of WWE.
Yes, we will.
Absolutely. Make sure you follow Brady at Brady Booker _WWE. Ladies and gentlemen, future WWE champion, Brady Booker. Brady, thanks so much, man.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks again to future WWE superstar Brady Booker for coming on the podcast. He was great to talk to. Big sports guy, getting big in the wrestling world. We were very excited to have him on. So thanks, Brady, for coming on. Hopefully we'll be talking to him in the future. But we are going to shift to our TCF top 3, and in honor of having Brady on this week, we've got our guy P-Goy on to do our favorite WWE wrestlers. All right, we got P-Goy here. We're doing our TCF top 3 of all-time wrestlers. So P-Goy, being you don't always hop on these, you're the wrestling guy around here. We're going to give you the honor of going 1-1 tonight.
All right, well, I don't know if it's like the overall 1-1, but my overall 1-1 is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Damn you.
I like that a lot.
There's and I won't say names of other picks, but like we are all a product of the Attitude Era. So like, and I think that's what made Stone Cold so great is he caught lightning in a bottle where he was like, you know, people wanted to see that guy who gave the big, like, you know, F you to the boss.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so he was like this rebellious character in the early to mid 90s who just, you know, caught the wrestling world by storm and you know, he took off. You know, some of his famous scenes were like the beer truck scene when he put a pile of horse shit in Mr. McMahon's office, when he
In the beer truck.
Yeah, the beer truck. He destroyed a bunch of cars with like heavy machinery. Like he was the
awesome.
guy. Yeah, he was the guy that, like I said, he just took over because he appealed to so many like the regular dudes who worked like 9 to 5s, and then they wanted to just tell their boss to go fuck off, and they were like, but they couldn't do it. So he like embodied all of that. So yeah, Stone Cold, easy 1-1 for me.
Good pick. Zach,
I'm gonna go second. I'm gonna go with Triple H because that's the same thing with me. When I was growing up, it was D-Generation X, and his walkout was so intimidating and so awesome to me that, and now he's still involved with Triple H or with WWE because he is married to Stephanie McMahon. But he was so cool. Him and Shawn Michaels.
Dude, the even his entrance music, the game by Motorhead is like, you put
time to play the game.
You put it on in like a weight room with a bunch of high school kids looking for football. They just they go nuts.
Comes out and he has the water in his mouth. He just spits the water. Like, oh, that's so cool.
I mean, and then when he
long
was in his
hair
prime too, like he was enormous.
Yes.
Yeah. I admittedly am not the biggest wrestling guy, so I'm going to go off with the guys I just liked. They might not be the best wrestlers.
Well, that's wrestling, Boomy.
Exactly. Yeah. You're right. You make a valid point. I'm going to go, and you can tell me if this is vetoed, but I'm just going to go Mick Foley because Mick Foley played
you took mine. I was going to say Mankind.
Because he had so many characters. On his Wikipedia, ring names, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, Cactus Jack Manson, Jack Foley, Mankind, Mick Foley, Santa Claus, Saint Mick. I mean, this guy was also a professional wrestler.
I don't mean to be rude, I don't mean to be rude in any way, but this is like you going out there and being a wrestler because
yes, he's very much.
You're in good shape. I'm not saying you're not in good shape, but this guy, he wasn't looking like the guys who are the Triple H's and stuff like that.
He doesn't look like Brady Booker, that's for sure.
Very true.
Oh, God.
And he's getting thrown off the top of cages, and the way he could just, in a way, take a beating.
Yeah.
Throw him into what was he thrown into like a bunch of tacks one time?
Yes.
Oh,
and I remember there's
the
famous GIF of him going off the top of the cage.
Oof.
That's him, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Undertaker throws him off.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, and I don't know. So your homework is to go watch that match. It's 1998. It's called Bad Blood in Your House was the pay-per-view name. He gets thrown off the top of the cell through the announce table, gets on a stretcher, halfway up the ramp, comes back in, then goes back in the cell, and then that's when you see the infamous Undertaker through the cell too. So he goes off that twice.
And it's one of the best calls too, because they're like, "Oh
Yep.
my gosh, this man may be dead."
He might it's the he's as God is my witness, he's broken in half.
He's broken in half because a human body, whatever you want to say about wrestling in that moment, that's as real as it can get.
Yeah, that's not fake. Like people, that's not fake.
All right, I'll give my second round pick here, and this might be lame. I don't care. I like him. John Cena is my second round pick. He's just jacked. He had his own rap song as his entrances, and like I'm becoming more of a softie now. So like the the kids with cancer stuff that he does, I like John Cena, and I think he's a perfectly average actor. And in the rest, I mean, the jerseys, you guys know
the hair was
big
confusing though.
Yeah, a little bit, but it and like his media personality. So like after, I mean, I'm sure, he still wrestles or whatever, but like him going on like Pardon My Take and all these other interviews I've seen him on, he has a personality and he's pretty funny. And I like him. John Cena is my second round pick.
And I think like, people have a hard time compartmentalizing like the WWE character versus like the guys that want to use their platform to do other things.
Especially nowadays, because WWE pretty much has like their own movie making company. Like that's just how it's gonna do. That's how it's gonna work.
Right.
So my second pick, it's got to be the Undertaker. I talked about Triple H's intro. When he comes in, when the Undertaker and it hits and it just gets completely dark and you didn't know where he was and he would just pop up behind you in the ring. That was one of the coolest things you could watch. Also scary.
Even going back to a couple of years ago when he was still, not so much a novelty but he was like still kind of like a regular guy that would build towards bigger shows. When the gong hit and the lights go out, the place just went nuts.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Pigo, you got two here. Second and third round. Who you got?
All right. Well, I'm gonna stick with my theme of the late mid '90s, and there is no Stone Cold without the Mr. McMahon character. So I'm gonna I'm taking.
You're talking about the character who literally blew up his limo.
Yeah, he faked his own death.
That was crazy. I was so confused. I watched that night live. I went to my dad. I'm like, what's going on here? Is this real?
Well, that's the thing is he. I mean, he knew what he had as far as the Attitude Era in the '90s, and he was not afraid to, push the envelope.
He's a genius.
As far as but that's
without a doubt,
you don't get that lightning in a bottle, like that fire through the whole era without him doing what he did and then Stone Cold revolting against him. So he was
willing to play the villain in his own company.
That's a good pick.
He played like disowning his own kids for the betterment of his own company. Mm-hmm. So I think I think those two go hand in hand, obviously. And then there's a bunch of different ways I can go with this one, but I'm going to stick with the era. I'm going to take Shawn Michaels. Mr. WrestleMania.
Oh, I love that pick. I love that pick. That's a great pick, Pigoy. The Heartbreak Kid.
Do
you remember that moment when he was against Ric Flair? I don't remember what it was, and he had to give him the what was his finisher?
The Sweet Chin Music.
The Sweet Chin Music. He's like, "I love you," and he had to do it. Like that was one of the most heartbreaking moments I've ever watched.
That was WrestleMania 28, I think is what it was. Yep.
That was that's a great pick, Pigway. My last pick, like you said, there's no Vince McMahon or no Stone Cold without Vince McMahon. Either way, there's no Kane without Undertaker. No Undertaker without Kane. Kane was just the flames, and he would come out, he'd lift his arms, and boom, and then now he's like the mayor of some town. But that character was awesome.
And Zach, like, you were kind of the reason I watched a little bit of wrestling when I was little. I legitimately, like, and I think everybody's guilty of this. Like, we all thought they were brothers, like in real life.
Well, yeah, and he went from the suit with like the fake hair or whatever the hair was, and then he went bald and he showed his face, and that was
corporate Kane.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's wrestling, like Undertaker, Kane, like those characters. Well, characters you're going to remember forever.
It was he actually debuted in after a Hell in a Cell match that Undertaker was a part of, and like they have been building this story for a while that Undertaker had like a brother, and then Paul Bearer had another son that they weren't telling anybody about, and they just built it up so great. And he came out, the fire shot out, and he comes out, and Kane goes down to the cell and just rips the fucking door right off of it, and just stands right next to him, and like. You think Undertaker's big? He was bigger than he was.
Yeah,
it's just this massive, huge.
All right, going back a little bit to when I used to watch wrestling with my dad. Nothing was better than when they would end like a Monday Night Raw with Kane, and he just either won a match or like scared somebody away, and he'd go boom, and it'd go dun, 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 and there's just flames like around the ring, and you're just like, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's just cool.
That's cool. Like wrestling is what it is, but the way you can like have these characters like they used to have, awesome.
Absolutely.
But that's what's like. That's also what's great about just it in general is that a lot of characters appeal to a lot of different people. So like,
yeah, like
we
the
all
Mick Foley's, like like his characters portrayed like or go towards so many different kinds. Yeah, like different people and stuff like that. And then Kane, he has two different sides, and he has the mask, and then he takes the mask off, like the Undertaker and stuff like that. And John Cena, like even John Cena, he's been the good guy, bad guy, or The Rock when he was the bad guy. Like these guys have gone back and forth on good guy, bad guy, and it's just fun to see.
Definitely. I'll finish this up, Mr. Irrelevant, and I'm going to stay true to myself, to a guy I liked a lot. It seemed like a ball of energy, and that's Rey Mysterio. Love the mask, love the Lucha Libre mask. I was a big Rey, and when he would jump off the ropes and wrap his legs around guys, I love that. I was a big Rey Mysterio fan. Do you guys like Rey Mysterio?
Oh, that's the 619.
Oh yeah, where it is.
The 619.
But of all the finishing moves though, like to somebody to just keep sitting there on the what's it, turnbuckles or whatever, and just lay there, I don't know.
But that's what
Rey Mysterio was just a ball of energy, and I loved it.
What was awesome about his too was like he was the David to a lot of the Goliaths out there too. Like they let him.
Oh yeah. Wasn't there like a match with him and like the Big Show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They let him go over on all these big guys, and they kept his like, little, like the little guy that could energy. They kept it going too. Like they never like you see all the time like these guys go out against these huge guys and they just get squashed in 30 seconds. But like they let Mysterio build his character up so much a lot of different times where he was again he appealed to the guy, the underdogs, and he appealed to so many guys that could take down the big giant.
Wouldn't you, as that character, though, want to take that mask off?
You'd think so. You want people to know your face, a little game recognition.
But that's
mask
like huge
off,
thing too,
like Future said.
That's a huge thing too with these lucha guys, where like it's so a sacred thing to have like not show your face. So they'll always tease it where they'll have somebody try to take his mask off, then somebody will come in and rescue him. Like that's a big thing with a lot of the lucha guys.
Brady mentioned something about that. Honorable mentions. Let me throw out Zach. You had one of my favorite, best intro. Well, it's a big show.
And
that was one of my favorites.
Ric Flair is tough because we didn't actually watch Ric Flair.
But he cut the best promo in wrestling history.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
You're talking to.
How many? Yep.
Yep. He was a great one. I had a couple here real quick. Sting, for some reason, I like that weird face paint. I enjoyed Daniel Bryan just because of the gift, the yes. I use that all the time. Yes. I don't know about you guys. I liked Goldberg a lot when I was little. I thought he was just kind of like a knockoff
That was
Stone Cold.
weird.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
Goldberg. Okay, all right, wrong Goldberg.
And let's see, I had one other one that I became a fan of because Zach gave me a wrestling magazine when I was about 9 years old that he had. Booker T was one of my favorite wrestlers of the 90s, and I don't really know why, but he had like this like scissor kick thing that I just loved. I was a big Booker T fan for about 2 years when I was 9.
When he would cut his promos after he won his 5th title, he'd always say, "You're 5-time, 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 5-time." He'd always say the word 5 times. He'd say it 5 times. That was great. You want to talk about great pops for entrances? It'd be the Road Dogg and Jesse James, the New Age Outlaws. You didn't know? That was a great one. And then a couple other ones that came to my mind. Who's still going? Chris Jericho. I almost picked him too. You want to talk about a guy who could talk on the mic. Like, he was fantastic.
Yeah, and I think we'd be remiss if we didn't say, The Rock. Obviously, he was
The
really
Rock.
big when we were growing up, but
obviously
where he's been now
too, because those Rock, McMahon, and Austin were so intertwined in the peak of what we watched when we were kids. But I mean, there's no bad pick in a lot of those guys too.
I think one of the coolest is Shane McMahon. I mean, that guy, he didn't have to do that, and he would jump off of like the cells and stuff. It's like, oh my gosh.
He clearly was not a professional wrestler.
And I love this intro. Here comes the money.
Like Shane just went out there and just didn't give a shit. Like, because he didn't have. If you ever watched him, like, he just clearly not on par with some of the guys like in the ring, but he would just throw himself out there and be like, "Yeah, just beat the shit out of me for 30 minutes and we'll put on a great show."
Any others, boys? Who was the big fat guy? Rafiki or Rikishi? I remember because he would always put his butt in people's faces. That was funny when I was 10. That was just funny. Zach, any others?
The Great Khali.
Yep.
He was in Longest Yard.
That's right. Any others, P-Goy?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, a lot of them are now current, but like, I don't think they were with WWE anymore. But like, Adam Cole's really good. CM Punk, shout out CM Punk, Chicago guy. He's back.
Yep. That is a good point.
I tweeted this a while ago. He was on the desk with David Kaplan and a couple other guys when the Cubs won the World Series. He was like part of the coverage team for the parade.
Yeah, big Chicago fan.
Yeah, big Chicago fan.
Well, P-Goy, where can the people find you on Twitter, my man?
Follow our main page at @typical_Chicago. We post all of our stuff there. Trying to blog some more, but I'm about what's today? September, like 3 months from finishing graduate school, so I'm just kind of wanting to get that shit done with so I can get back to real life. So we'll try to blog some more, but at @typical_Chicago, follow all that stuff, and that's almost me. I do pump the Bears content for all of our people out there, so shout out me for doing that.
Shout out you for doing that.
Shout out for you. You have to live through having Kirk Cousins as your quarterback.
I don't even know if it's that. Like, it's just like being a Vikings fan it's just the same story every fucking season. It's just we have Kirk Cousins plays a great game. Kicker missed the field goal. I mean, it's just I feel like I'm going nuts. Like, it's just
you were so close. You were so close.
If you're in the head of a Vikings fan, you'll watch the game and it'll all be going great. And then the guy that like cranks the cymbals on the monkey that smashes him with his hands, and the noise will stop. And then all of a sudden, here comes the kicker to win the game, and just goes bang, 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 bang.
And your head goes in between the cymbals, just boom, boom.
I mean, it's
Kirk Cousins who's hitting you in the head.
And he's the guy cranking the freaking thing on the monkey to turn it around again. So I rather tweet about the Bears because they're exciting in this aspect this year as opposed to just like, Vikings. Whatever.
Same old story.
It's whatever. Like this season actually for Minnesota could go really bad if they lose like 2 in a row again. Like if they go 4, it's gonna be oh boy.
But again, follow @typical_Chicago. Follow it.
Yep.
Pigoy runs that, so shout out to Pigoy for that.
And thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, you want to talk some wrestling? We'll cut it up anytime, boys.
Next time we have Brady on, we'll have to get you in there.
Oh, I would love to, and I know I put some questions, but I'd love to just pick his brain about because that's the thing. We all watched that in the '90s, and we're like, how cool would that be to be able to do that?
And he's doing it.
And that's what he's doing. He's every 30-year-old guy now. Like that's the dream.
He even says in the interview, he's like, "This is my life, and this is awesome."
God damn it! I'm so jealous.
As always, a great TCF top 3 of our favorite wrestlers. Let us know what you think, who we forgot, who had the best draft. Let us know at typical_Chicago on Twitter. But thank you for joining us for episode 114 of Typical Chicago Fans. Thanks again to Brady Booker for jumping on with us. We'll hope to hear from him in the near future. But make sure you check out our sponsor, Connect Roasters, connectroasters.com, and at Connect Roasters on Twitter. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, like I said, at typical_Chicago, Facebook and Instagram, YouTube page, subscribe there. Subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts, we can be found there. You can find me on Twitter at BoomyTCF. Find Zach at ZLiliaTCF. Thank you for joining us. That was episode 114 of Typical Chicago Fans. We love you all.
Peace.